Hello, everyone.
How are you today, Erin Lee?
I'm great. Thanks, Miss Bobbi Rowntree. How are you?
I am good, thank you. Samhain blessings to you.
Oh, thank you. And to you as well. And to all of our amazing Orkellians who are joining us live or who are joining us later. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. Samhain blessings.
Exactly.
Yeah, it sounds weird to say it out loud. I write it so much.
Yep.
I actually never say it out loud.
Yeah.
Because if I said that to somebody on the street, they would be like, "What did you just say to me? What's it mean?
You want to fight with me?
Yeah, what are you trying to say to me, buddy?"
Oh my gosh. And I have to be completely honest. I'd never heard it pronounced out loud until a couple of years ago. And so I always thought it was Samhain. I'm like, Samhain, but it's Samhain.
Yeah, did you see that meme I put up?
Maybe. Which one was
it? This way in Ireland, you say it this way. In Germany, you say it this way. In North America, you say it Samhain. Hello, Carrie. Happy Samhain blessings to you. Hello, Amanda.
Welcome.
Blessings to you. That's our focus today.
Yep. Yeah.
The Samhain, because tomorrow is All Hallows Eve.
Amazing. Amazing. And boo, back to you too, Corrine. It's great to see you. Awesome. So I have kind of put this into Bobbi's hands because this is more your area of expertise than it is mine. So did you want to talk about what we're talking about today?
Sure. And I would actually even more define it as my area of interest rather than expertise, because I do not see myself as an expert. I actually see this as it's a new part of my life.
Beautiful.
I love it because I actually used to get depressed even going into Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
This is the anticipation that Christmas was going to end.
Right.
The celebration of Christmas was such a huge thing that January was very depressing. And then a child in January really helped.
Yes.
Because then I had that to look forward to, her birthday. And then the other birthday right after that was my other child, one of my other children. So that started to wear off after a while, a little bit. I needed a new bolster. And then actually moving into my spirituality and paganism and what things used to be and kind of my witchiness, not Wiccan, but witchy. And that's the thing is Wiccan, I'm just way too lazy to become a Wiccan. I'm way too lazy. Anywho, there is a celebration every darn month.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's wonderful. The original thing, from what I understand in my research, is the first four. Beltane, Samhain, Yule, and Imbolc. But I have found that each and every month, if there is a slight celebration, it actually gives you something a little bit more. So that's why we put Christmas when we did.
Yep.
Because people needed something to look forward to, something different, something a celebration
to lift the spirits. And I mean, I would go so far as to say is I think that that's probably part of the reason that Yule was the time that it was, and then Christmas just kind of became that time as well to appropriate
it's the same inclination.
Yeah.
Yule, right now, what we're doing is we're going to bed. We're actually putting everything to sleep. Like your plants, well, they were supposed to, but they didn't go to sleep, and everything goes back into the ground in order for the light to come.
Yeah.
Which we see as November 2nd, and the go to sleep is Halloween, October 31st. Now, I would say actually I'm more comfortable going with the movements of the earth rather than an actual calendar and adhering to certain days.
Right.
Because I actually felt the release yesterday or the day before. Because it was really, really, really tight. Okie dokie. So,
yep.
There's so many different ways to celebrate Samhain. So many different ways. And so I have a couple things here. I actually made orange wheels. So you take an orange slice and you cut it and you let it dry out.
Yeah.
And honestly, put it in a napkin, because otherwise you just get so many fruit flies. And when I put it in a napkin, the fruit flies didn't come. I actually got a lot of the moisture out, and they didn't. So that worked. Anywho, so you're supposed to take these. The idea and thought is that we take these. These actually symbolize the sun.
Cool.
The sun. And I'm going to a whole bunch more to decorate trees in my yard for the winter because it actually feeds the birds. It will encourage the sun to come back for the spring because that's what we're doing. We're putting everything to sleep to encourage the sun to return, which is the idea of Christmas. It's the coming of the sun.
Cool.
Coming of light, which means there will be new life. So I think we can commingle them a little bit without being sacrilegious or making Jesus a man or anything like that. Okay, so I also have an apple, but this isn't an apple; it's a candle. Actually,
I was going to say, like, are we supposed to bob for it? Because that's really big at this time of year.
Yes, it is. Do you know why people used to bob for apples?
Why did they bob for apples? No.
They would bob for apples. If you pulled up an apple, you were going to get married that year.
Oh,
early fertility. And this is funny. Actually, what another thing you used to do is peel the entire apple and try to make it one great big peel and then throw it over their shoulder. And then you look at it and whatever letter it looks like, that's the first initial of the man you're going to marry.
Oh, so I noticed that you say the man that you're going to marry. So does that mean that only women would do this, or would men do it too?
I'm sure men did it. Men did the bobbing for apples as well. I just think that women are a little more preoccupied with who they're going to marry.
Right. Right. No, that's fair. That's fair.
Incorrect. Okie dokie. So, and the apple itself, I have an apple tree that I had planted right outside my witch's kitchen because they told me to.
Yeah.
Because it's protectant. And if you cut it in half, you can actually see the star.
Oh, cool. I remember doing that in elementary school, cutting it in half.
And creating the star.
And creating the star. Yeah.
Same sort of idea. Yeah. All right. And I know I am also skimming over these things. So as people would like to add in their Samhain celebration, you're more than welcome to.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Should we take a quick second and say hello to the people who have joined us, and then we'll jump back in?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And Amanda's saying that she's finally all moved in. Okay, well,
perfect.
Perfect. Excellent. Yeah. It sounds like, okay, so the rest of the question is, what can I do to boost the positive energy in our forever home? We have Nancy. Hello, Nancy. Thanks for joining us live. It's great to see you. And Sarah and Ruth and Kate. Hello.
Hello, Ruth. Hello, Kate.
All right. So where do you want to go? Did you want to talk about the energy in home, or do we want to carry on with
actually talk about Amanda's question and actually put it within the Samhain?
Love it. That's great.
Okie dokie. So Amanda's finally moved in somewhere and she wants to boost positive energy in her forever home. So one of the things with Samhain is the letting go of the dead, letting go of what has happened before us. And we will talk a little bit more about the letting go of the dead thing because man, did that come up this morning.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the blessing of the new home and the bringing in of light, you can look at like when you clear this house that you're actually moving in the time of looking for light and bringing in light. I think that's smashing, actually. And in my head, they're telling Amanda to actually do this orange thing.
Cool.
Totally symbolic of light. And if I remember, Amanda might have children to do it with, then the children are involved in it. And then it's part of the clearing of the space. And, they're also telling me, right here, all the different things that you can use to clear the vibes within your home. What do you use? Do you use sage?
I use energy. I do energy work. And I also use my chakra clearing spray that I made.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Essential oils all put together for the clearing?
Yeah, essential oils and crystals.
Oh,
yeah. And then I charge it and I do the thing and then I spray it. And
you find get kind of, I get this, I say the same thing, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I do that too. Yeah. And there are times when I'm walking my dogs, I'm like, oh no, my way home. No. I have to do it while I'm walking the dogs. And I truly believe it's just as powerful because the intention is all that really matters.
Absolutely.
The intention is there.
And I also have it as part of my universal contract of service that my space always be cleared for me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's because of those folks you work with.
Yeah. It's all about rules.
All about the rules. So yes, Amanda, I would set new rituals and new things in your home and just boost the energy of everything. And
So actually, sweeping, I have heard, has really significant like practice and energy, and it is like a clearing in and of itself.
Yeah.
I've heard that you shouldn't sweep into the house, but that you should always sweep out towards a door, because in sweeping in, like if you start at the walls or where the door is, in sweeping in, you're bringing in what could be negative that you're wanting to sweep out and to clear out. So I thought that
Or
was interesting.
yes, actually, when I clear the yoga studio and I do the sweep in there,
Mhm.
actually, I sweep the perimeter into the center and slowly sweep it
Mhm.
all into the center, and then take the center out and bring it out there.
And clear it out.
Outside, I have a special broom that I sweep
Yep.
away all the stuff from people who comes, and I
Beautiful.
have to remember to do it. It's
Mhm.
actually one of the strongest messages I got when I did the moon bath.
Beautiful.
Samhain celebration started a week ago, and it's been a very painful experience. Holy cow! I could barely move my arms a week ago. A week ago tomorrow.
Yep.
But yeah. So that the letting go and the the releasing of stuff, which actually brings us into the releasing of the dead. Now we have
Mhm.
more people who have joined us since we started chatting, though. So
Yes.
hello.
So we have hello to Carrie and to Verna and to Pat. I'll come back to your message in a moment, and to Melissa, I'll come back to your message in a moment too. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes. Okie dokie.
Let's do the what you were talking about, and hello to Teresa who's just joined us.
Oh,
let's go into what you were talking about, and then we'll come back to Pat and Melissa.
okie dokie. All right. What was I talking about?
We were talking about the releasing of the dead.
The releasing of the dead. Okie dokie. Yeah. Okay. So, and it actually came to me a little bit because I read people who are in
Mhm.
mourning a lot. I spend a lot of
Mhm.
time in the grief zone.
Yeah.
And I have been in the grief zone. And what I find is actually, um, okay, well, I actually think we have ceremonies, celebrations of life, things like that for the living. And they're so the living can have a little bit of closure, some sort of
Mhm.
ritual that allows them to let it go. It
Yeah.
doesn't always allow you to let it go,
Mhm.
but it is a start. And
Mhm.
I actually kind of think that if every October you allowed yourself to be happy for people who are on the other side
Mhm.
and release them and allow your communication with them to grow stronger. That's actually what I heard in my head, because that actually would be the outcome.
Yeah.
That if you allowed to do that, actually sooner or later over time, the pain of their passing will subside a little bit, and you'll get
Absolutely.
through this a little bit.
Because if I look at the bigger structure in like a society in terms of how we deal with grief and death and passing, we do a really poor job of it, and there isn't really any acknowledgement or true recognition beyond X amount of time to recognize that people are still in a place of grief. But on top of that, we don't do things to celebrate the people, our loved ones who have passed and who have crossed over. They just, they kind of in some ways cease to exist. I mean, obviously we remember them, but we don't really honor the fact that they're not here or honor them for where they are.
I agree. I agree completely. And actually, death is taboo.
Mm-hmm.
It's considered a bad thing,
Yeah.
horrific, awful, gut wrenching thing.
Mm-hmm.
Fact, it's a release, it's a transition,
Mm-hmm.
and the person it hurts the most is you, the person who's left behind.
Yeah.
Even when someone suffers a tragic death,
Mm-hmm.
even murdered people tell me they don't care who killed them.
Mm-hmm.
They just want you to know they're okay now.
Yeah.
And if I even see their murder, all I see is the act. I don't see who I just I do this because the first time it was a woman who was being stabbed, and
Um,
that's all she could see was the knife.
mhm.
Anywho, so she couldn't actually look at him.
Right.
Anywho, so
Right.
my thinking behind that is
Mm-hmm.
to do things like light a fire,
Mm-hmm.
like because bonfire,
Mm-hmm.
and that can help release fire. Is such a great release. I did it
Oh,
through moon baths, and
so powerful.
I created a little wood fire on my tub actually.
Oh, wow. You'll have to definitely tell us about that.
You wrote stuff down. That's how, like, I wrote stuff down. That's
Nice.
so not me. I'm usually like, they'll tell me what to say, and that's it. Yeah. Okie dokie. Okay, yeah. Honoring the dead, letting go, and bringing ritual into it, and not being like weird. Like, when I set my place at Thanksgiving for people who've crossed over, I did tell the family, and the family was really happy that it was there, actually. And it normalizes it for you. So that, because this was the first Thanksgiving without a certain person. And that was really, really apparent. Yeah. So it actually made it so that we could, talk about it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, often we don't talk about these things, about things that are potentially hurtful and painful. And I mean, I don't know how many times I know that somebody has lost somebody meaningful and significant to them, and I hesitate to even mention that person's name because I don't want to bring it up for them. But it's me mentioning that person's name doesn't bring it up for them. It's not, oh man, I totally forgot that person had died. It's more, it can be more, oh man, I hear somebody who also remembers my loved one in a way that is positive or that is loving, and it's an opportunity for a relief.
Yeah, and I agree, it's a lovely reminder. But sometimes it doesn't feel like a lovely reminder because you haven't dealt with your feelings about it. So therefore, the reminder is like a knife to the chest,
right?
Rather than a lovely, wonderful thing. So if we actually start doing burnings for those who've crossed over, putting out food for those who've crossed over, it kind of makes it so that you know that you're still interacting with them. You're still communicating with them. You're still doing something for them, even if you think you're kookalooku when you're doing it. Yeah. Do it even if you think, don't tell anybody, just do it, and then no one will know. It's like with this, like the celebration of Samhain, you actually don't have to. If I go with this book, I gotta go buy stuff.
Right.
Go get myself grains and fruit and dried flowers. It's like, oh, I didn't have dried flowers. This is an offering to the dead. Or what if actually I know that they love bananas. So I take a banana. This is just a banana peel, and I'll put the banana on there as an offering, and then that is actually just their kind of. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. For me personally, when it comes to doing any sort of ritual or ceremony, the focus is more on intention and using what you have, and rather than stressing out about what you don't have, put that energy into the intention and into the ceremony that you're creating. That I think is more important.
I agree completely, because it's like a manifestation.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want with your manifestation, but if your positive energy isn't of the thought, the feeling, that isn't there, you're not going to get that. Yeah. You get the thing you're thought and they're feeling. Yeah, rather than what you were looking for. Okie dokie. So yeah, that's the letting go. And I know for me, the letting go, it's not, because obviously I don't really have a difficulty with letting go of people who've crossed over. I'm very, very lucky that I hear them right away and we hang out and things like that. And it's like, oh, you're here all the time now. It's groovy.
It's even better than when you were living, because now you're all the time.
Yes and no. No, I still cry because I can't get that advice that I used to get. Isn't that selfish? See how selfish that is? I'm crying because I can't go to you for advice for me. Anywho, okie dokie. So the letting go for me is stuff. To me, this is going to be letting go of material stuff and stuff that I hold on to for sentimental. Like, oh, that wrapper. I remember, like, and it's not that bad. I'm not a hoarder, but every time I've taken my kids over to Vancouver for a concert or something like that, yes, I have all the fairy stubs. I have all the this. I have all. I have the memory. I don't need the other stuff. Yeah, but I attach myself to the other stuff. Yes, okie dokie. So, do you want to acknowledge some things too that we have been getting from our friends here?
Yes, absolutely. So I want to say hello to Linda, who's joining us from Lake Cowichan. Thanks for joining us. And Carrie saying she loves always mentioning them when we are the rememberers.
We are the rememberers.
I love that. And actually that kind of ties into something that's been really present and relevant for me, and has to do with people who aren't physically physically here, but who are still alive. Stories have always been like a way of remembering and keeping people alive. So whether it's, my nephew who's in Pennsylvania or a loved one who's crossed over, I think that stories are really powerful ways of remembering. And for me, I love the funny stories. So that's what I focus on.
Grandparents especially will
Yeah.
actually tell me, because they'll say, you don't know me, but you know me through photograph. They'll do this, means you know me through photographs and stories.
Yeah.
And they actually, that is the connection that you have, because they've been actually watching over you this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually even wonder too, if you're attracted to photographs and stories of them, so you actually know who is watching over you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing the word assignments. Okie dokie. Now, Pat is asking us a question that reminds me a little bit of what we're saying, kind of.
Okay. So Pat said, this is probably off topic, but wondering why on the same day we had a wonderful, joyous event, within hours we were slammed with a devastating event. Are we not allowed to have only good feelings?
It's always darkest before the dawn. Sometimes we don't know what's actually good.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and death runs in that category. Mm-hmm. Very, very much. I actually used to say, if my dad hadn't died, I don't. If my dad hadn't died, I wouldn't have the 3 children I have now.
Mm-hmm.
And that is an absolute truth.
Yep.
So sometimes things can come at you, and you think, it's like the pain messaging I get.
Mm-hmm.
I can go, oh, this is terrible. God hates me.
Yeah.
Or I can go, what should I be actually taking this as? Or what could they be saying? Or what could this be? I'm identifying it as pain because everything around me tells me it is. But doesn't mean it has to be seen that way. And doesn't mean it has to feel that way.
Well, and I mean, the other thing that I look at is the last part of Pat's question. Are we not allowed to have only good feelings? And, to me, it seems like maybe part of the reason that you had the amazing, wonderful, and joyous event was to help offset the pain and the challenge of what was devastating. Right? That it's something that's balancing out those feelings.
What angelic way of looking at it. Your glass was just really half full there. She's a Lou. It wasn't that they're saying that you can't have happy things. It's that they're saying there is always balance within the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do this wonderful thing, so this horrible thing wouldn't be such a blow.
Yeah.
Oh, take that one, Pat. That's groovy. I love that. That's excellent. Excellent, Erin. And actually, the one right below it, I love too, actually. It's back on the Samhain.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
We are. Yeah. So Melissa says that I love the idea of the oranges and doing it with my daughter. That's awesome. She is 4 and just realized, that all people die. And I wanted something light and bright to do with her around Samhain. Amazing.
Yeah. And actually, what you might want to do too is call dead people ancestors with her a little bit, just so she sees them as being removed from her a little bit. But she knows that it's okay and they're still communicating, but it doesn't have to be someone she loves and knows, because then that brings about blood and things like that. Okay, so light and bright. I would fire.
Yep.
A little fire. Oh, yes, that's okay. All right, this is another thing we were going to get into, but I'll get into it right away.
Yeah.
Wishes. Now, on New Year's,
can you repeat it? I missed it. What did you say?
Wishes for the next year, manifestations.
Yes.
So, and same as letting go, there are things you want to actually bring to you. So, with the letting go, what you can do is make representations of the things and burn them, or in some sort of way. I've actually seen people burn Samhain incense under that idea, rather than actually burning other things.
Right.
And because I have a recipe for Samhain incense actually that I can add if you guys want.
Very
also,
cool.
When the things that you want to bring to you, they show me that you can take representations, put them in a little box and bury them in the yard, or put representations and put them somewhere where you can see them the next year and see which ones you actually brought to you. And actually, what I would do with your little girl is have the fairies.
Absolutely.
Tell her she can ask the fairies to bring these little things to her. And then, but you need to continue. Once you've asked the fairies, they're not like the angels. They're like, yeah, get back to me. Fairies are like, is this for you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the fairies are elemental. They're much closer to our energy, and they do have ego as well. So yeah, they can be pretty mischievous, and they'll get right in your face too. So they're not all loving, say the way that angels are.
Balanced.
Exactly. There's a balance. There's a balance.
Okay.
Beautiful. Right. So I just want to go back and say hello to Ange and to Denise and Rosemary. I see that we've got a couple of questions coming in for readings. We're not doing readings today, but if you have a general question that you want to ask about, please ask away. We love hearing from you guys. And Tanya's saying that she would love a recipe, and Carrie's yes for a recipe. And yes, absolutely.
Now, Rosemary is asking us a reading question, but I think it's a question that can be answered without readings.
Okay, you go for it.
What touches her neck at night? Will my ex-husband and I get back together? Mm-hmm. What would you like to see happening? What would be the best outcome for you? Don't leave it to fate. Is actually what I'm thinking there. Manifest it or unmanifest it, but figure out what would be best for you.
One of the things that I would put into that, though, is until we go through the healing process, we can be stuck in the pattern of what is comfortable. And so like going back into something means that we avoid or bypass some of that healing work. So what is best for us right now when we're in a place of hurt isn't necessarily what's in our best and highest good overall. So I would add that caveat that it's important to do the work and the healing, because if there was a break in that, there was a reason, like something wasn't working for someone. And so until you resolve that, going back into it isn't going to fix it. So that would be the caveat that I would have to that, is to make sure it is actually in your best and highest good before you start bringing it back in.
Yeah, because actually the scenario they gave me from that is if you get stabbed, you actually want to keep the thing in there. If once you pull it out, all of a sudden the bleeding begins.
Right.
So you want to actually put the thing back in to stop the bleeding.
Right.
But you're actually supposed to compress it and let yourself bleed a little.
Yep.
That makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And within that, there could be, Rosemary might want to do some stuff having to figure out why it broke up in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason behind it for you.
Yeah, absolutely. There's always a reason that things happen, and it's important to explore that before just going back into it. And I mean, that's making an assumption that that's, what is happening. But that was the caveat that I had.
Yes. And hindsight is not 2020. Hindsight is rose colored. Not look back at the past and see it clearly. They look back at the past and they see all the things they wanted to see.
Yeah,
exactly. They want the 1950s back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No. Anyway. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Excellent.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've got Tanya here, and she's saying, broke up with my boyfriend today. It's been 2 years, and part of me wishes it would work out, but I think he is darkness over my world. I just want to offer some celebration for you in that, because certainly at this point that was the best choice. It sounds like it was the best choice for you to make, and that there's an opportunity for healing and for more light to come in. So congratulations to you.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Awesome. And we've got Melissa back, and she's saying that they love the fairies, popping back to the fairies. What am I asking them for?
Well, what do you want?
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. What do you want? You can even, can you fairies please make sure in the spring we have way more flowers? Simple like that. I always think of flowers when I think of fairies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, fairies are so nature oriented, and they are such incredible and fabulous manifestors as well. So the things that you're wanting to create, particularly on a natural level, and a really good way to invite fairies in is to create a beautiful space. They love beautiful spaces outside. So pick up garbage and clean things up and keep things tidy. The fairies really love that.
Yeah, and don't create fairy villages and then move them and then not recreate them, because you're getting a lot of trouble.
I can certainly see that. I can see how they'd get in your face about that.
I have to fix that. I know I have to fix that. Yeah, once the fence. Anyway, okie dokie. So, all right. Now, and actually, a little bit more about the letting go and the manifestation, because I've actually seen people write stuff down, and I've actually seen people put in things. So whatever you want to attract to you, whatever you want to bring for the coming year, I want you to treat this kind of like a New Year's Eve sort of thing.
Beautiful.
That's what people do on New Year's Eve. We make solutions.
Yeah. We focus on the things that we want to experience, or we want to do, or we want to have.
Make a Samhain resolution. Oh, yeah. Okay. Another thing, too. It pops in my head as Samhain, but it also pops in my head as harvest, as fall, as autumn. Yeah. You don't need to actually, especially if the roots of you inside of your body says, no, you can't rename holidays and things like that. And it just doesn't coincide with your faith. You don't need to be a salmon and fly against your faith. You can just go with what you know and move into, because the Christians tried to. That's why All Saints Day is the 2nd. Yeah. That's why it's All Hallows Eve tomorrow, to be perfectly honest. Because it's a festival, it's 3 days. Okie dokie. It's 3 days where we make a massive bonfire in the community, and then each member of the community takes a piece of that bonfire and brings it to their home. It's all about us connecting with each other and becoming one with each other. And, I just think it's a beautiful thing.
Well, and I hear celebration as well. And that was part of what tweaked for me as you were talking about harvest. Like, we've put all of this energy and work into building and creating, and the things that are literally going to sustain us during like this time of quiet or this time of death, and to celebrate that together. And I mean, for me, just in general, that's a theme that's been coming up a lot this year, is taking the time to celebrate the efforts that we've put in and the things that we have accomplished and achieved, because we kind of tend to run over that. So
yes, I'm sorry, I had to get rid of a scammer. Leslie noticed the scammer too. Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you.
We caught him. Yes. So yeah, I agree with you. Sorry, I was trying to be maintenance-y.
Thank you for keeping up on it.
Okie dokie. Oh, that's an excellent question, Shelley. Yes, they do.
So just for everybody else, Shelley's asked, do the fairies like hanging out inside with us as well?
Yeah. As far as I know, they do. And actually, a little voice in my head is telling me, when I go into a house that has a presence in the house, I see these things I call gremlins in the kitchen. Because there's so much bad energy in the kitchen. People are, food really freaks people out. People are weird about food. We have too much of it. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. And people stress about it, about making it, about what you're going to eat, having enough of it.
Once it's inside of you, it's just this huge, it's a thing.
That's how you feel. Yeah.
So they just actually said in my head that gremlins are like the counterpart to the indoor fairies.
Oh, interesting.
They're actually feeding off your insecurities, whereas fairies probably are exploiting them. Like, come on. But can we go to Ruth's?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
This is a comment I think everyone can understand and feel.
Yeah.
And I actually used to feel this way. So do you want to read it, or?
You go ahead.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out why I get sad for no reason. And I just want to cry and I can't. My question for you, and that's my question.
That's my question for you.
It's an excellent question, because raise your hand if you felt this. Like, I think everybody's got a hand raised unless you got coffee in your hand or a baby. But yeah, we've all felt this way. And I actually used to put it a lot to PMS. That frustration that we feel at the PMSy time of life. And it is a constricted, I don't have enough power feeling. And I don't have enough power. Now with PMS, we're all feeling at the same time. Maybe when I'm like with PMS, it's because my neighbor Helen is having PMS too. And Helen is, and so I feel her, and I'm, and then and we don't know why we're, because we're actually affecting each other. So I think that might be a strong possibility with Ruth.
Absolutely. One of the things I actually see the time of PMS as being something that's actually really empowering because we don't have the resources that we usually have to cover things over. So we don't have the resources to put the smile on the face and to just ignore the things that are problematic. You can't help but deal with the stuff that, or recognize the stuff that's coming up, because it is there. It is in your face. You don't have the resources that you usually have to put the smile on your face. So I actually see it as being like our superpower. What the heck is going on? Why am I so tired? And one of the ways to help balance and navigate that is to be dealing with the stuff that's coming up, so that it isn't underlying.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually just looked at that in two completely different ways, but both are very valid.
Yeah.
And I've never thought about that it could be latent stuff that starts to rise to the surface.
Mm-hmm. And
if you have a psychic thing and you don't pay attention to it and you keep your mind really busy, the minute your mind is not busy, that psychic thing is going to come flying to the forefront of your brain.
Yeah.
So the same thing with sadness.
Yeah.
You're supposed to experience and feel so you can work through it. So you can move on to the next level.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I would say for Roof, like trying to figure out what's going on, sometimes we just have feelings that are there and we aren't necessarily supposed to know why, because digging into it is actually going to make it worse. Like if it's not readily apparent to you, take the time to feel that emotion, to know that it is temporary. Like we never get stuck in holding on to emotion if we don't allow ourselves to do it. It can be something that's really fluid. So
who do this?
Yeah.
Will actually put on stuff that makes them cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And give themselves a sit down, a good cry, get it all out into the surface, and then they move on.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Actually. Maybe every now and again you got to get it out. Yeah. Honestly, God, the voices in my head just show that as the same as, when you're alone, there's nobody around.
Are we going where I think we're going?
We are.
Oh, we totally are going there.
Yeah, that's what they're showing that the same as, because you're expressing something to release something because there's a tension. I believe we need to orgasm. We physically need to orgasm.
It is a powerful way to release.
Well, if men don't orgasm enough, they get prostate cancer.
Right.
It actually gets all backed up. And there's most likely something within us. But we don't know yet because, there's not enough women doctors looking at this. Women doctors look at this because the men doctors have figured out everything with the wiener. So we got to figure out because the vagina is way more complicated. Anywho.
And one thing that I wanted to say too, because I see that Ruth has a comment here about having made a vision board.
I see that too.
That sometimes it can be good to create space where you just hold space rather than trying to fill with something else and something new and something good. I had an experience several years ago where a friend of mine, she does the scanning thing where you put your hand on and it gives like a scan of your body and what's happening all around you. So we did a scan, and then we did a releasing, and we did a scan, and then we did a manifesting, and we did a scan. So we did this all within like an hour and a half. And at the end of the manifesting, all of my numbers were significantly lower than they were when I started. And it was because there was a need to release, yes, but also just to hold that space of being empty rather than trying to fill it up with something else, but to be in a place of just release.
That's a toughie.
Isn't it?
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah.
Such a tough one. Absolutely a tough one.
Because it is uncomfortable. And
it is totally uncomfortable. And sometimes actually you don't realize what you need to release, and then it'll start. Like if you have like a moon bath. Yeah. And you start to release things and you're like, what is happening to me? I can't move today. Sakes alive. It's actually an excellent segue for really what you just said.
Yep. Yeah. So did you want to lead into this one, or did you want me to lead into this one? You lead into this one.
Oh, okay. So I did our moon baths. Well, Erin's moon baths for the new moon,
Yes.
which was what actually started off my Samhain celebration. Because the new moon is the manifestation moon. As we come into it, we release, we slough off, I'm having my period in the bathroom. Sorry. But I did it. I forgave.
Yeah.
Then I released. Then I created. And the first day when I forgave, that was a very painful day. I physically went through a ridiculous amount of pain. Of course, the barometer changed as well. So I wasn't sure which one was which, and I kind of think they were both very similar. And then when the first the forgiving, that was very tough, and then the releasing, and then actually, I swear it released even more toxins into the body. Then they had a little playtime. And then the last one was the last one. The morning I woke up and I wrote a full chapter of my book. Like
beautiful.
Right at 5 a.m. I just started writing. I wrote all the way till 9 o'clock in the morning. I was like, oh my God, it's 9 o'clock. I don't smell fully. Yeah. Anyway.
Wow. One of the things that really draws me about the experience that you had and that you shared, and possibly because this is new information for me, because I've heard about the experience that you had with the releasing and the forgiving, but the creation was that all of that brought you into an alignment that literally created the energy to be in a place of creation, to be putting out into channeling. And I love that. I'm super excited about that, and excited about the release too.
Yes, it was not lost on me that it did this for me. It was wonderful, but it was so hard. Moon was really difficult this last new moon, and I think it's a little bit barometer because I do have discomfort now. Like my face hurts. That's how much discomfort I have.
Oh man.
Well, it gets the nerves all here.
Yeah. So I haven't actually used one before, but I'm seeing one of those like jade roller things. You know how you rub. Oh, do you? Okay, yeah. Give yourself a really good jade roller facial massage.
The sinuses and things like that. Yes.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love it. Hey, I'm kind of feeling, I keep seeing Ruth's comment here. I made a vision board. And I'm starting to plan towards like New Year in the beginning of the year. Do we want to do like a group gathering vision board thing?
Oh, like people all get together and make vision boards all together.
Or we do it all together, like online, because we have people who are all over the place.
Right, fair for people who are in Alberta or places like that.
Exactly. Because I know that Corrine is in New York. I know that we have Chantel who joins us from the Netherlands. Like they couldn't physically get together with us in person, but we could do something online. So drop it down below. Let me know.
Yeah, drop us a dime. Yeah, and we're going to be having a guest this month. I just have to cement with Erin the day.
Perfect. I was actually going to ask you about that too.
We're going to be talking about dementia.
Excellent. Awesome. I love that.
And comment that makes sense to me. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say before we segue anywhere else, I have been busy at work on our universalconnections.ca website.
Yes.
And one of the things that Bobbi and I have wanted to do for a long time is to have community listings for all of our awesome Orkellians who are here. I know that we've got like some jewelers and we've got some crystal people. We've got some readers. We've got ceramic artists and other artists. And you guys, we think you're awesome. And we want people to be able to find you too. So if you go to, hold on a second. If you go to universalconnections.ca, at the top of the screen in our menu, you will find the community page. You scroll down to the bottom of the community page, and there's a form that you can give us your information and let us know how you want to be recognized. Yeah. So it is just in the very beginning stages because I literally got it up and running this week. So the only people who are on there are Bobbi and I. but we want more people. So let us know. universalconnections.ca.
Yes, and Carrie has a really good idea that that everyone send a pic or a little reel of them with the vision board.
Oh, I love that. That's a wonderful idea.
Too.
That's a wonderful idea. I think actually we could create a hashtag with that too.
Ooh, look at us creating hashtags.
I think that we create a hashtag, and the hashtag will be something to do with our vision board creation.
Yes. Okay. Excellent.
I love it.
All right. Now,
cool. Where are we going? I'll let you start.
On the kitchen. Okay. Oh, wow. I missed a few comments people have said. Okay. So
yeah, I'm behind.
I didn't grow up in a religious house, far from it. Me too. But why is it so easy to believe in God and the Bible and stuff scares the bejeebers out of me? Yeah.
I'm not seeing where you are. Who?
Oh, I am just below the scammer that we got rid of.
Okay, with Nancy. Nope.
It's just below Nancy, 2 below Nancy.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, got it. Okay. So yes, I didn't grow up in a religious household.
Okay, and we will help you, Nancy. Okay, yeah, because I felt the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I actually used to, because I grew up in an atheist household,
mm-hmm.
get up at midnight on Christmas Eve to pray to God and to commemorate Jesus, because I didn't want God to be mad at my family. It was partly because I knew, and I still do it. I still do. Christmas Eve is a special night. But I don't do it out of fear anymore. Now I actually feel the love of God. I guess I'm more in the New Testament God than the Old Testament God now. There's a very big difference. Like, holy snap. Locust, things like that. Famine. Yeah. That's Old Testament.
I mean, I think regardless of the home that you grew up in, being in a Western country where religion is really prevalent in a lot of what we do, those ideas are very firmly and strongly out there, whether it's something that we believe or not, right?
Oh, so, absolutely. We're always afraid that we're going to get in trouble for something, especially if it's individualized. Even in the Samhain celebrations, you didn't go and be part of the celebration and get that piece of fire. You didn't have light for the year. You didn't have the warmth of the community for the year. You were actually manifesting and setting up a bad year for yourself. So that's still that believe or perish idea. It's always prevalent. And I actually think a little bit is that humans like to go on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, like that's a really ego-based thought system and idea. If you don't do this, or if you don't have, or if you aren't at X level, then you're excluded. I think that, as humans, there is that urge to exclude that which is different and that which doesn't follow the crowd.
Because in that exclusion, you actually include yourself more. You actually have set the pattern for, well, that can't happen to me because I'm the one setting it. I'm saying you're not in because I'm making the rules right here. Yeah. So anyway. Okay. Now, Nancy has an energy attachment to her that she's lingered over the weekend. Now, when I hear this from folks, always the same thing comes to me. It's that you are not helpless within this. But because I just had someone who left who said this.
Yep.
And after they left, I must have smacked myself in the face 8 times with different things. I kept attaching stuff on things, doing this, doing that. And I was like, this is not happening.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm laughing, but it just struck me as being funny.
It was. It was like, oh my God, I cannot freak out right now. I want to kill things. And stuff like that. But I knew I could tell that if I moved into that energy, I was just going to create more of that energy.
Absolutely. And that's how it solidifies itself in your energy.
Because you add acknowledgement of it too.
Yeah.
If you say, oh, you have power over me. Saying, oh, what are you doing to me? Or anything like that. I would never allow something like that to have power over me.
Yeah.
That's like letting the bad kid win.
Exactly. And from an energetic point of view, our energy when we're in balance vibrates kind of like this. But if something is demonic or something is negative that's attaching to you, that energy is slower. And so if you bring your energy back up into your balance, it can't stay with you. But I mean, the things that Bobbi is talking about totally make sense, because if you start smacking yourself in the face, you get frustrated. That drops your energy and your vibration. And then more of it will happen because it gets a firmer hold on you. So, rather than, as Bobbi has said, rather than allowing yourself to spiral and to spin into that, bring your energy and vibration up. So laugh at it. My goodness. Can you imagine
how frustrating it would be that you're trying to make someone upset and they keep laughing at you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Again, think of the school bully. They're trying to really get at you, and you just sit there and laugh.
Like, funny. You're so adorable.
You are impotent against me.
Yeah. And exactly, they'll do it within self-talking your brain too.
Yeah.
When you start running yourself or self-talking your brain about someone you love, separating you from that as well. So just keep yourself high. No, Snoop Dogg. Anyway.
And I mean, I love working with angels, so you can absolutely call in your angels, ask them for help and support. Say, hey, I think that there's an energy that's around me. It doesn't serve me or my best and highest good. Please take it to the light. That's it. That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
You just ask for that help.
Oh, they're probably like, oh, Bobbi and Erin are talking again. Oh.
Yeah.
They're always talking to us. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
Excellent questions. All right.
Yeah.
And it's a good question for now, too, because the veil is so thin right now. Crazy thin is the veil. It's wonderful. And as soon as I said that now, it's like I set off a ring bomb in my ear.
Oh, did you? Did we just poke the bear?
It's been so loud the last 3 weeks. And it's funny actually, because I think it was last night. All of a sudden it happened. Then I heard my husband go, okay, that's a bad ringing in the ear. And I was like, oh my God.
I just gave it to you.
It's not, well, I think it's that we both heard the same people at the same time. Is what it is, because we share a lot of dead folks. So.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Okay. All right. A Facebook user. I never know where they at. You know what? If you want anonymity, I guess you can put that in. I think that's groovy, actually.
Yeah. I don't know actually how that would have worked, but that's really cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Yes. I recently learned about talking with entities.
Very cool.
When I think of entities, I think of the movie. The Entity. And when I think the movie The Entity is about a woman whose abusive husband dies and then comes back as a ghost and continues to abuse her.
Yeah.
True stories. It was when I was a kid. I watched.
Holy smokes.
Just remember the boob thing. If anyone's seen it, they'll know what I'm talking about with the boob thing. Anyway. So I always go to a negative connotation with entities. When I talk to a spirit. Yeah. When I think of entity, I think of something that is existing in and of itself. So that might not be what Facebook user is talking about, though.
Yeah, but I'm with you too. For me, entity is something that has, as you say, that negative connotation. Because if it's something that is positive and loving, then it's been identified, right? Yeah. We've got angel or ascended master or deceased loved one or spirit or guide or all of those other things. So it'd be really interesting to hear back from Facebook user about entities on what does that mean for you?
Because it could just be the word that they chose for spirit.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, and I think that that's actually a really cool little talking point, is that often we use different language, but we're talking about the same things. I think about if somebody says that they're going to pray for you, it's the same as sending love and light, the intention, the energy that's there is the same. It's just, they're different words.
We tend to get a little bit offended.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because I'm so used to saying the dead. I mean it in an affectionate way, and it's just easier than saying crossed over loved ones. It's the dead. And they actually even ring in my head as we're the dead. It's not a bad thing. That's good. We're butterflies. You guys are caterpillars.
Yeah.
That is the cocoon. And I agree with Leslie. Leslie says I'm trying because it has to do with the fear of God. Because
Right.
I'm
Yep.
nature versus man-made, which
Yep.
I agree completely. I
Mhm.
feel you, Leslie. There, even actually, there's a little part of me that goes, when people say I'm gonna burn in hell, well, I'll be like, hey, go, they were right. How?
But but Leslie's saying, but it still feels scary.
It does. It absolutely feels scary because you're told you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Because all your life it's drilled into you. And
Mhm.
when you actually start to express yourself as an individual,
Mhm.
the group will say, wow, you're doing.
Yeah.
Don't express yourself as an individual. We really like this non-individual thing that's happening here.
Mhm.
So yeah, people don't like me.
And so
Man.
what I would say for that is if you are having a hard time getting into more nature-based as opposed to man-made, get out and find the comfortable place for you in nature and start to feel and experience what is there. Because fear is often because of the unknown, something that we haven't experienced, something that we haven't allowed ourselves to explore. So put yourself into a place where you are physically comfortable, you feel safe, and just allow yourself to observe what is happening. Some things that can be really powerful are catching a sunrise or a sunset, or finding a rock to sit on in the forest, or experiencing the ebb and the flow of water, or looking at stars, like all of these very natural things, and then taking yourself back. This is something that every human who has ever existed will have experienced, and it starts to bring you into the flow of nature, and you see that it isn't something to be frightened or afraid of, but that it is something that you can grow with. And then when we start talking about things like the moon and the annual phases that we go through, it's like, yes, I can see this because this is part of how we understood our world.
Oh, yes. And I would even also put that if you want to put more worship into nature and less into the God in the sky sort of construct, just know that when you're enjoying nature, it's part of God in the sky's construct.
Yeah.
All together.
Yeah.
Yeah. This separation thing that we have this thing where we feel we need to be separated.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a disempowerment of us.
Mm-hmm.
Because really, with the Samhain thing as well, we can look at this as a journey with the earth.
Mm-hmm.
As looking at, okay, well, she's cycling in this way, so I'm going to move with her cycle and do what she's doing because I'm a part of her. So if she's going to put everything to bed and go to sleep and have longer nights, so am I.
Yeah.
It's all part of what I need to do. And really, you can actually move your Christianity into your Samhain. And I think that's a little bit part two of what Leslie means and talks about. Because I think some people would be afraid to say Samhain and want to say it in a Christian sort of way. So it's not make game of my or anything like that, which I totally get. I totally get. But I actually have here who would celebrate Samhain? Everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone can celebrate it because you just think of it as celebrating the earth. It's like you're clean. That's a celebration of the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's pretty, I think that's pretty powerful.
It is. Yes. It's like my magic wand. My husband made me a magic wand. So pleased with it. An eucalyptus branch. And I put it on a bracelet.
A bangle.
Yes.
I love it.
I could wear it to a party yesterday.
Beauty.
So yes.
Beauty. Awesome. And we've got Kate saying yes to the vision board. So I will come up with something. We will come up with something for that. Yes.
Okay.
And the board to you, and we make it real.
Well, you spelled it right, Pat. Because we made it up.
Yeah. Geez, that means I've been spelling it wrong.
Oh, okay. I've been spelling it wrong. Are you have an E or Kellyanne with an A?
I do it with an E or a co.
Yeah, you're right with an E. I would do it with an E as well. But
anyway,
Oracle Lion.
Yes, yes. So the Oracelian, like our show that we do today, this is called Oracle Chats, and Oracelian, those you guys, that's you guys, our community,
Yes.
the Oracelian community. And so that's where that came from.
I
Yeah.
see. Yeah, I'm sorry. I've never seen an Elizabeth called Eli. Eli
Love it.
G. Mac's name is Elizabeth. I love that freaking name.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is the most versatile name on the planet. And now there's even another one.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh, that's so
Or
cool. I wish I'd named one of my kids Elizabeth. I would call her a different name every time I saw her. Hello.
well,
Hello.
welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us, Elizabeth. Thank you. I think this is your first time. Oh, first time here. Yes.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
it is. Nancy, I am not sure where your comment is or where it was.
Nancy's
I'm
comment
sorry.
was about the energy that she picked up over the weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So, yes, my
Okay.
comment is tied to my first one. Sorry.
Okay. All right. I'm not sure. I just wasn't sure. All right. Beautiful. Oh, and I think maybe Eli Elizabeth has seen other readers who do readings where they take money. First of all, we don't do readings on our show, and we don't take donations. So we don't. Yeah. But if you have a question that you want to ask that's more general, that it's not specific, that would have benefit to everybody, please feel free to pop it into the comments.
And most likely when you answer it, we will end up reading you a little bit because that's what happens. Because we answer the question psychically. And if you're asking it, that's going to be attached onto it. But yes, we do this because this is going to
We
sound
have fun.
because we love you was actually the thing that was about to come out. And then I thought, oh, Bobbi, you're making yourself sick. But
See, I was going to say because we have fun.
Because we have fun and I love this. I love being able to demystify and discuss what we do and every, like with our guests that we're going to be having next time, which we're only at an hour, so we're not. Sorry. Carrie's daughter's ringing has increased. I found this month was very ringy.
Yeah, my
loud month for the dead.
Yep.
They were making themselves known. And I know for myself because I had 3 very significant passings. So that was very known.
Yeah. So you've got lots for getting your attention.
I got lots of them and they were in my ear a lot. But yeah, the veil was very thin this year. I actually have been finding that ever since we were locked down.
Yeah.
That the veil is super thin. It's because they're reminded me that I think it was last year.
Yep.
It was like, wow. Because we didn't actually start this till November last year, did we?
I don't honestly remember. I kind of thought it was in January of this year, but I know that we were doing some randomly throughout the summer.
Yeah. So
because we did one at your place outside.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. But yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. Okay. All right. What do you do for your Samhain celebration, Erin Lee?
I was thinking about this, and I actually don't have anything that I specifically do for Samhain. And actually, as I was thinking about this, I'm like, I don't have a lot of things that I do for a lot of celebrations, because it wasn't really big in my family, and not having family and children of my own, it hasn't been something that I have really created, because it's just for me. It's kind of like making a really big elaborate dinner but being the only person who's going to eat it. It actually becomes depressing.
Okay.
being the only one.
I understand what you mean. I do, because I think that holidays and celebrations become something very different when you have children. Isn't that a sad thing?
I was thinking exactly the same thing, because I thought, there are things that are happening in the community that I can participate in. And one year I did. So at our local community hall, they do something for the kids. It's like a Halloween thing. And one year I thought, I want to really participate in that. And so I got like the whole witch's hat, and I had the put your hand in the bowl, and it's this really gross thing. So I had like cooked spaghetti and grapes and a whole pile of random things. And like the looks that I was getting because I was there and I didn't have a kid, it was like, oh, well, that's, really unfortunate. And I think that, part of that is parents wanting to make sure that their kids are safe. And I know as a woman, I probably get less of that than a man.
Can you imagine as a man?
But
definitely.
but it really for me created like a division, and it's like, okay, well, that's all right. Like I don't need to participate in that, but it kind of created for me, it created a bit of a division. So yeah, there isn't really anything that I do for Samhain.
Okie dokie. See, I find that celebration helps me from getting depressed. Having these little celebrations, even for myself, just for myself, which I've always done.
Yep.
Since I was a little kid, like when you say getting an elaborate dinner together,
yep,
that is something I precisely will do. If I'm spending an evening alone, I will get myself the right drink I want, the food I want, and I will find myself a show I want to watch. It's usually British people killing each other. This thing about British murder mysteries, I absolutely love them. So to me also, time by myself is precious.
I was going to say, like, time by myself, I have so much of. It's in plenty. So like the things that you're talking about, I'm like, yeah, that's a Wednesday night, right? Like I watch whatever I want to watch on Netflix and nobody says no.
Yeah. I don't have to actually watch this because there's swear words in the thing I wanted to watch. Yeah. Kids aren't allowed to watch people have sex yet.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's awkward to watch with your parents or with your kids or whatever. I've certainly been on the kid end of that. Like, oh, I don't think we should really watch this together. Maybe you guys watch that on your own.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. So, all right. So,
So I mean,
to say to that, honestly.
I mean, for me, I'll create ceremony when I feel that it's something that I'm wanting to focus on. So if I've got something that I'm dealing with in my life, then I'm going to go and I'm going to do something, and maybe I'll incorporate cards, or maybe I'll incorporate like some intense journaling or some creation. So for me, there's less of like a need for a specific day to do something. And I think maybe that's one of the differences, in that I don't have a lot of responsibility to other people. I can do basically whatever I want, whenever I want. And so I celebrate and honor in that, rather than having a specific day.
Specific ritual times and things.
Yeah. When is the need? That feels good. I mean, on the flip side of that, the moon for me has become more and more significant over the last several years.
You do it with the moon.
Yeah, I absolutely do things with the moon. So that for me is, but that also, I mean, like that for me, that comes into like my health and wellness and well-being. Like, right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, to me, actually, the moon tells you when you need to celebrate the moon, and you listen to the moon.
Yeah.
So to me, also, Samhain is the earth saying we need to celebrate me.
Absolutely.
And that's why we're celebrating Samhain. That's why I don't know what to say, because I actually think you do celebrate it. You just don't do it arbitrarily at the time that other people say.
Absolutely. I would completely agree with that I don't feel that I need to wait or to do things on a certain day or at a certain time.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the 31st, which I'm really glad that I felt the movement move yesterday.
Yeah.
So that when I go to the 31st, I'm going to give out candy to kids.
Yeah.
And I might even wear a black dress to be a witch, because I wear a blue dress and I have an indigo hat.
I love it.
I wore it yesterday. Because I thought I'm dressing up as a witch, so I'm going to dress up as an actual witch. You wouldn't believe how little witch sort of things I have.
I know. Well, I was like, okay, well, I can't wear my regular clothes today because we're doing Samhain, and so I pulled out the witchiest, most elaborate thing that I had, and it was purple. It had to be purple. My choices were purple or blue, and I'm like, well, what are you going to be? Well, I'm going to be a psychic.
Yeah. You're a fortune teller.
I've got my, my obsidian crystal sphere here, and
I wish I'd had a magic 8-ball yesterday.
Oh, that would have been cool. That would have been fun.
It was tough though, because I was sober. Nobody else. Well, my husband and I were sober.
Yep.
So it's always, it's like watching a party, not at a party.
Yeah, one of the last Halloween parties that I went to was exactly that, because I wasn't drinking. Most everybody there, they were also coupled as well, and it just, like it was very exclusive. So yeah, there were a lot of things that contributed to not
Going
celebrating.
to be part of that again. Yeah,
Pardon?
find too that the rituals that we as human beings, or what our society has set upon us, actually glares out when you are different from the rest of society, or when your lifestyle doesn't quite fit with those rituals. That I think that's why people hate Christmas.
Yeah.
Because Christmas, okay, you might remember as a child, you grew up poor, so there wasn't anything at Christmas, and boy, did that glare at Christmas.
Yep.
Or you don't have anyone to actually spend Christmas with, boy, does it glare at Christmas. Things like that.
Or it was a really stressful time. Like all of those things, or parents' need to create the best Christmas experience ever, meant that there was additional stress in the household.
Yeah, we do that to us.
Yes,
it's funny because I was in the dollar store, and this gentleman was coming down the aisle, and he stopped and he stared at the aisle. And I looked at him and he said, "Christmas already." And he said, "It gets earlier every year. Isn't it awful?" And I said, "Or maybe it actually gives you more time to celebrate something that makes you happy."
Yeah.
I guess that's a way of looking at it. But
I think I kind of see what he's saying there too.
All the way you look at it.
Well, but the other aspect is that our holidays have become really commercial. Like they're very commercialized.
Oh, absolutely.
And when Christmas stuff shows up in August, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, really? Are we going to celebrate this and focus on this for that long, rather than allowing ourselves to be in the moment of it and saying maybe from the 20th to the 28th, that's going to be Christmas, and we're going to, get the tree and put up the tree, and we're going to decorate, we're going to do all those things. And we could really like condense it into that time, rather than it being something that completely takes over our lives in the months leading up to it.
Well, why not? Because
okay, yeah.
To it, Christmas is supposed to be the season of giving. It's supposed to be the time when people actually get together, where actually soldiers drop their guns and don't fight on that particular day. There's beautiful connotations to it. And if it's too commercial, then don't celebrate that part. That's what I just, because with this idea of moving into Samhain and our individual celebrations of it, and the fact that we are actually becoming a lot more non-secular, and your best friend might be Muslim and you might be Christian, doesn't make him any less your best friend. But wouldn't it be cool if they could celebrate Diwali while you celebrate, and then you guys can actually learn from each other, and nobody has to worry about what other people are doing? And enjoy yourself, because the more you enjoy yourself, the more you're going to spread that love vibe, and then the more other people are going to enjoy themselves, and then traffic won't be as bad. It won't be as bad as it was before, because people will actually, it's like if we just made yoga mandatory in the schools. But I live in this airy, happy, Mayberry-like world in my brain. And I believe it to be true. And I just can't understand why you would go, Bobbi, what about the reality? What reality? Like reality. That's what I say to people.
Well, and I mean, like, reality is what you choose to focus on.
And reality is always this negative connotation. It's not your reality. It's a time when you can actually choose a different reality into our new moon. And I love the fact that Ruth's her movie to watch by herself is 50 Shades of Grey.
Nice. That's awesome, Ruth.
You were with us the whole time in spirit, Rose, because I think I had mentioned you earlier when we were talking about faraway places. But yeah, I had not read 50 Shades of Grey, but that actually proves that everybody has a different sort of thing that keeps them. Yeah, my favorite. Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
really voted to my favorite movie to watch by myself. 9.5 weeks. And 9.5 weeks is the dirty movie from my time. So.
Right. Right. Yeah, because I was gonna say I'm pretty sure I know 9.5 weeks, but I don't think I've seen it.
You were too young. You would, yes. I was
Possibly.
my early one. And I was probably about 17 years old when that movie came out. So you were
Okay.
about 7.
I was, about 8. Yeah.
Or,
Yeah. Because math.
yeah, you're just math, whatever. Yeah, you're young. Okie dokie. How are you feeling, everyone?
Awesome. Pardon?
How are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
Okay. Do we want to talk about what we're going to be doing in the next?
I will let you lead because I'm not 100% sure what you've got going, what you're thinking.
The Connie.
Yes. Yes. So our again, like going back to the intention that Bobbi and I had when we first started this was that we wanted to have guests come on and speak too. So several months ago, we had Mary Malinsky on with us, and that was awesome. Then the summer kind of happened and other things happened. And so our intention is to come back to that. So do we have a date that Connie is going to be joining us?
No, I was going to cement it with you, but it will be this month. She has given me her Sundays.
Beautiful.
It won't be possibly next Sunday because next Sunday might be a taped show.
Okay.
It might be a taped show because somebody is going to Lizzo.
Oh, that's very exciting.
I feel good as hell about it, let me tell you that.
That's awesome. So either next Sunday will be a tape show or it will be me.
Or it will be you.
Or it'll be me.
I'm going to be at Lizzo on Monday. But anyway.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I might be in Vancouver. So we'll see. We'll discuss. But yes, we're going to have Connie on. And Connie is on a, how do I even say it?
I would say that she is on a journey as a partner of someone who she loves who is experiencing dementia.
Yes, which she labels as our dementia journey. And
Beautiful.
It is very enlightening and very helpful. And I would think anyone who's been through dementia with a family member can benefit from the things that Connie's learning. And this, and plus she's
lovely. Yeah.
She's so adorable. She makes Erin look tough.
I am tough. Whoo!
Oh, you have me.
That was my Halloween costume for today. Tough. Woo! Yeah, no, Connie is lovely.
Your tough wasn't even tough. Okay, just so you're aware.
Is it like the kitten trying to growl like a lion, roar like a lion?
Yes, it is. It's like that. Have you ever seen that ape where he gets up and he goes and he knocks himself over? And then he's like, oh my
okay.
God.
Yeah. I haven't seen that, but if I were to do it, I definitely would knock myself out. So I think it's an apt analogy.
Okay, now little voices inside my head say that we have to do like a thing of all the things that people could do today and tomorrow for the Samhain celebration based on what they want to do. Okay.
And part of what I'm hearing, and I think that this is in part for me, but possibly there are other people who are the same. I feel like we should say what we are going to focus on doing over the next couple of days as kind of a form of an accountability, because in saying it, you're more likely to do it than if you just think it. So
or even writing it down.
Yes, writing it down would be good too.
On a piece of paper.
Yeah.
That's excellent because that is actually one of the things. Okay, so first one is offerings. So offerings and actually how I'm going to do this is I am going to go through some things and give them away.
I love it.
Charitable donations, because Lord knows I have enough to give. And anyone out there need a couch and chair? A couch and chair.
I also have 2 china cabinets. So yeah, if we're putting large household furniture out there, I have 2 china cabinets that I would love to give to somebody. So you let me know.
Okie dokie. All right. We could furnish somebody's home here.
We totally could. And it's so interesting you're talking about donations, because I literally just took 2 or 3 boxes to the Salvation Army with like kitchen stuff, because my kitchen is no longer a kitchen. It is now a creation lab. So
a creation lab.
Yeah.
Yes, they look great on the video, by the way.
Okay.
Okie dokie. So a little fire. Now,
Okay.
I actually have a wood stove in my home. So I'm going to, and I have been all week. I have a pot on the stove and I put certain herbs in it, and it's getting cedar boughs today. And I like cedar boughs off the ground, so they're already offered rather than off the tree, because then I got to do a whole thing where I got, can I have your arm, please, Mr. Tree? Things like that.
Yeah.
So So I also, when I did the tub, the moon tub, I used wood matches. So I took the little pieces of wood, and I put them all in a thing like a tea light thing, and I made myself a little bonfire in my tub.
Oh, that's brilliant! Because
it's super cool.
I wanted to ask you how the heck you did that, and that sounds fabulous. I have a little cauldron it's really tiny. Yeah, like one of those guys, exactly, with the little feet. And it never even occurred to me that would be a perfect thing to do. But like the things that you're releasing, you could rip it up and you can burn it in your little cauldron.
Yeah.
Wow, aren't you smart?
Mine was thoughts and feelings and certain things that no longer are serving me that I have to move forward with. Like actually for myself, with the people who've crossed over, I need to move past my feelings of mourning as a little niece and move into my feelings of communication as a medium who has these 3 spirits who she knew as her aunts and uncle. Now I will convene with them as people. Like other spirits that I know, and then that will move us forward. So I have to let go of that feeling, because I'm not letting go of the loss. But I'm moving into, okay, now what? Now this. Yeah. Because I don't know how people got through death otherwise. Yeah. Carrie's right on a bay leaf. Yes, I've seen this one.
I've seen that too. I think that's a great idea, because that's also, bay is supposed to also be really helpful for releasing.
Yes, and I've seen that where did I just read that? Where you write it on the bay leaf, and it's something that you want to get rid of. And sometimes it will get rid of the thing, and sometimes it won't, and then you can see what you are holding on to and what you're not holding on to. Something like that. It's a release thing. But of course, it's not right in front of me.
I think that's a really powerful component to releasing, is recognizing what you think you're ready to release, but what you aren't actually ready to release, and what you're holding on to, because it means that there's more work that needs to be done there.
Yeah, and sometimes you actually are holding on to things. Yeah, like it could very easily be said, I am holding on to my pain. My pain is something that I identify myself with. I just call it mine. And it's something where I go, oh, I'm in pain. So there must be something they're talking to me. Or reason not to do it differently, am I?
Yeah.
Yeah. And with the release and everything, that we want to bring in good things as well. So that's why the cedar bough, because that cleanses the energy and it brings healing in. And dragon's blood. I don't know what the heck it is with dragon's blood. I actually went and got a dragon's blood stone at the place on 5th Street.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, so I was literally going into like a little vial of dragon's blood. And when you said I actually went and got, I'm like, oh my gosh, how do you find a dragon and get it?
Yeah, I have it right next to my unicorn balls. Like,
leave the unicorn balls alone, Bobbi.
They're tentacles, baby.
We want more unicorns.
Sakes alive.
Oh, Pat.
Anyway, because once we release and let go, then we're going to bring in the new.
Yeah.
And then we're going to, well, that's where this comes in, where we start to look at the sun and start moving into the sun and light. So how are you going to do that, Erin, as a person who doesn't celebrate Samhain?
Well, I'm definitely going to be doing more with releasing physical things, giving and sharing. That feels like that's a really beautiful thing to do. And I'm really also drawn to to writing and releasing, like Pat, who says that she's going to need a truckload of bay leaves. Pat, I wish that we were closer, because I know that I have a great big huge bag of bay leaves, because I got them when I was making a lot of food. I still make a lot of food for myself, but I can't eat bay anymore. So I've got a big bag. So I have a truckload that I would share with Pat.
Well, honestly, I have access to Pat.
Oh, do you? Okay, great. So Pat, there might be a package of bay leaves coming your way.
Oh, I'll let you know, Pat. The woman's gonna message me now. Where are my Baileys?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I'm going to do that, and I'm also seeing that tonight is going to be a bath night, and that sounds so ridiculous. So I'm gonna put this into perspective. I don't have a bathtub at my place. I need to go to my parents' place in order to have a bath. So it is a bigger deal. It is a bigger deal than just like I'm gonna bathe tonight.
Yeah, I have a bathroom that is completely and absolutely dedicated to my baths.
That
I know.
I'm in a little place of envy right now, and in the manifestations that I'm doing for like the space that I'm going to be in after this, it is going to have a bathroom that is dedicated to baths.
And every time
recording.
Every time you envy my space, I want you to look out the window.
Yeah, right.
On the ocean. I mean, like, right.
For crying out loud, Bobbi. I'm gonna go put my feet in the ocean.
Yes. You don't need a salt bath. Just go stand in the ocean and say, "Yeah, I'm blessed."
Yeah, exactly. I did that the full moon, the last full moon that we had, because the salt that I shared with you and that I shared with a couple of other people, I actually created it all the night of the full moon. And that night I went out, so this was like the middle of October. I went out and I stood in the ocean, and I just got my feet in, but when I came out, it was the waves were really big and really high. I was literally drenched up to my waist because it was crashing over so hard. So it was pretty cool. So those are things. I love doing things with the moon, but we already know
those
that,
salts retained that power.
Exactly.
On my bottom. Well, Carrie thinks you should get a portable one and set it up outside. You mean tub, like a portable tub?
Yes. You know what? It's so funny that you say that. I was actually planning on doing that, and I was going to do it over on the side where it was empty lots next to us, but they have literally just built this gigantic mansion next door. So I don't know that it will be particularly private for me to go out and have an outdoor bath.
It's up to them whether they want to look out their window.
Right?
I mean, you can be out there naked, and if they are offended, they can just go, "I'm turning this way.
I'm going to look out a different window."
Look out a different window so the naked lady is gone.
Right. Yeah.
You just go ahead. You fly you just put it out there to the moon.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
They're only $89.
Really? Oh, okay. Well, Amazon, here I come.
Amazon. I don't know that Jeff Bezos needs any more of our hard-earned cash.
Maybe I can find something else.
Maybe. But, that's just my personal thing. I have this thing with these people who have all this yucky money, and they just keep it.
And they don't circulate it back around.
That's not what money's for. Money is an energy. Money needs to be moved. Yeah, they have flamingo.
Maybe I need a flamingo bathtub.
Oh my gosh. Of course you do.
I think I want an angel
bathtub. You just show me someone who doesn't need a flamingo bathtub.
No. I've just seen it. I'm going to have a beautiful bathtub that has gorgeous angel wings in behind. And I'm going to have an angel bathtub.
That makes perfect sense, because I want a copper one.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Perfect sense. Around these favorite characters, you do a portable bath. Go.
You go first.
I'll shelter right there in my driveway.
But it's funny because I actually sent you a marketplace listing about a month ago or a month and a half ago of somebody who was selling their forest bathtub setup. And as soon as I saw them, that would have been so perfect for Bobbi.
It would have been, yes. Oh, and trust me, my husband looked at that and his wheels, they went to turn.
I'm sure they were.
I can hear it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he loves to build me. I'm not going to stop him. I love it. It's wonderful. He builds me stuff outside, and he has made my yard into, yes.
A magical place.
I have a very good business. Yes, I do. I'm a very lucky woman.
Awesome. So I want to take a moment and ask you guys, what 1 or 2 or 3 things are you going to do to celebrate?
What are you guys
celebrate
doing?
Samhain.
I hope it's more exciting than what Erin's gonna do.
Well, maybe I'll have to up the ante and run around naked in the backyard or something.
But or you could just, you could cut an apple. Or you cut some oranges and hang little oranges in your yard. Or you can just do the blessings thing. I can see that with you.
Yeah.
Blessings. You actually writing down things you want to lose and then writing down things you want to gain.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm also hearing straightening up in the yard, which is interesting because the yard is actually at this point, the part that I would be able to straighten is already done. But apparently there is something else that I need to look at out there. So
maybe something you need to add or something that you need to.
Yeah.
Okay,
space
well, that's good. Well, we know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do everything.
Bobbi's doing it all.
I'm doing it all. Well, I got to get rid of stuff though. I actually, if anyone needs anything, message me, and I probably have it. Anyone who's trying to start a home or trying to do anything like that, I got dressers, I got couches, I got stuff. Because I'm trying to get rid of old stuff and bring in other, because I like to buy everything used.
Yep.
That's a big thing with me that I'm trying to do.
I love it.
Yeah. And Christmas has messed with that a little bit.
Yeah. Yes.
People all used stuff and have them still love you.
Mm-hmm.
Because then they're like, why am I getting a used pair of underwear? Sorry.
Okay, well, if you're getting used underwear, I certainly would question that as well.
Yeah, I honestly don't love you if I'm giving you used underwear. So.
But maybe there's an opportunity. I remember one year when I was 19 and my siblings were a little bit younger. I was unwell at the time, and they were in high school and doing their own things. And we decided that we were going to have a year where we only made gifts for each other. And honestly, that was one of the best years for Christmas because it was something that was from the heart that we all loved. And so I can see going into a theme like that. You need to discuss it with your family and friends first, though. But
yes.
Yeah.
I had to say, yes, I remember this. This is how I met Brienne and her mommy.
That's so awesome.
From me, and I still read them to this day.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So yes, the furniture that you get from me will be blessed.
Indeed, very blessed.
Don't have any entities attached, I promise.
It's all cleared.
It'll all be cleared. Yes.
Yeah.
Last time I did a clothing swap.
Yeah.
Everybody came.
Yeah, I remember because I brought stuff over, but I wasn't able to stick around. Yeah.
Donated. And then everything that wasn't swapped around, I just gave to Good to Be Through.
Yeah.
The ladies who pick silly and then they have to start over again. Let's put it that way for battered ladies. But I am totally down with the clothing swap. Mm-hmm. Totally down. I think that's a great idea, clothing swaps. I haven't been to a clothing swap party, and I didn't even think people still did clothing swap parties. I thought that was like a thing of the past. And
maybe it'll be resurrected.
It should be resurrected because with the clothing swap, you grow out of things or you buy something and you don't know what to. I've got closets filled with stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Okay. I agree, Linda. Linda loves the idea of celebrating the harvest by being super thankful for the things she has. Mm-hmm. And energies around her, and to work to push back on people who tend to attract negativity or negative moments over and over. And self-victimization, perceived wronged.
Yeah. And I think that's a beautiful thing to work on healing is healing the old stories. Like, what am I getting from telling that? And yeah.
Okay, Carrie's gonna host a clothing swap party.
Awesome. And Carrie's got awesome crystals too. So win-win.
People could swap some clothes, buy a crystal. It would be a party.
It would be. It would be. Awesome. Ruth, thank you. You have a good evening and a safe Halloween too. Good night.
Yes, she's in tired town. It's later there where she is. Yes.
Awesome. Well, what do you think? I think we're at that time.
I think so. I think that Ruth is right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us for tonight's Oracle Chats. It's always a pleasure connecting with you.
Yes, thank you so very much. Samhain blessings to all of you. And if you say Samhain, say Samhain. I've actually heard it 4 different ways from 4 different Wiccans on 4 different YouTube channels.
Absolutely.
So, everyone wants to pronounce it differently, and who cares, right? So I hope you have a wonderful Samhain celebration. I hope you let go of what you need to release, and I hope you bring in what you want to.
Celebrate what you have.
Yes. I saw a thing where people put like a pink quartz crystal in with a ring.
Yeah.
Buried that in the hopes of finding a loved one or getting married within
Beautiful.
the year.
What a great idea.
I thought so too. Thanks, Lonnie. I love it when Lonnie comes to visit us. Because 1, he's male.
Yeah.
And 2, we were in grade 4 together.
That's awesome.
I know. I think it's totally awesome. Pine Ridge Elementary. Yeah.
Nice.
Only solar heat school in BC at the time. Anywho.
Are you ready?
Right. Yes, I'm ready.
All right. Namaste.
Namaste. Just before you. I got it. I was really excited.
Right, we will see you next week, or somebody will see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.